And we're live. We did it, boys. We reached the finish line of another director dive. Hold up. I don't know if I have audio for desktop. I should have checked. Give me 1 second. Yeah. Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah, read our lips.
We're good. We're live. Glad I caught it now, though, not halfway through. You know, that's a bad feel.
True.
But yeah, as I was saying, we did it. Malick's done. Felt like a pretty long slog out of all that. What is this? Director's Dive number 6, 5 or 6?
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
We did.
Kubrick.
No, Kubrick.
Kubrick, PTA, and then
Fincher. Tarantino, Coen's.
Yes.
Yep. This is number 6.
Chalk it up. Malick. We did it. Yeah. I mean, how do you guys feel?
Such a slog that we decided to pair 2 movies together. And honestly, I don't know if that was a good idea just because watching 2 movies a week of his felt,
it burns you
I don't
out.
know, worse.
Yeah.
It was a bit much, but I think if we had like drawn it out more, it could have been worse. So
yeah, I think I would have just given up, honestly, in this one. I don't know.
Honestly, after the last, not Song to Song, but what was the last one? The Earth World.
Oh yeah, Voyage of Time.
Voyage of Time and Knight of Cups. I almost considered just being like, guys, should we do this? Is it worth finishing?
Especially with Hidden Life, which we'll talk about soon. But like that one is 3 fucking hours long, dude. Like
I pushed that to the limit. I just finished it and like maybe an hour or so ago. So
really,
yeah.
I didn't watch it today. Yeah, so to get to the finish line, we had to like really buckle down, find all the energy. Jesus, really forced it on us.
The Malick grind.
Yeah, but all right, let's talk Song to Song, and then we'll talk a Hidden Life, and then we're gonna do some rankings for Malick, and then we'll reveal the next director that we're gonna talk about. Sound good?
Hell yeah,
let's do it.
All right, so Song to Song, 2017 Malick. This is like in his back to back phase. That's kind of how I picture it now after we watched all of them.
Yeah.
He really just kind of went down the rabbit hole in this phase of his career, I'd say.
Well, this one with Knight of Cups, is that the name of it? It just
Knight of
doesn't
Cups.
sound right. Yeah. So Knight of Cups and this one filmed back to back, and you can tell. But that's just like the actors were on set. Christian Bale was supposed to be in it, and he left because I think it was scheduling conflicts or his character was too similar to Michael Fassbender's character or whatever the fuck. But
he's one of them that got cut this time.
Yeah. So he was just one that did some scenes, and then they were just like, nah.
Lost to history. They're only on Malick's hard drive somewhere.
Yeah. Another interesting, speaking of Malick's hard drives, the original cut of this was 8 hours. Did you read that?
No.
Why? What drove?
That's because that's because all he did is just get footage and not actually have a movie. And he's like, I have 8 hours of footage. I filmed a lot.
He filmed them in their cars traveling from location to location, just in case they miss something or get something authentic that way.
That's
authentic,
behavior, man. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
That's the thing that gets me about this and Knight of Cups especially is like when you tell these actors who I think they have some sort of grasp on what the real world is, but not like outside of Hollywood wealthy real world, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So when he tells them to act like normal people in front of the camera, if that's how they think normal people act, that's just not how people do it. I've never seen someone dance through an intersection. I've seen a guy take out his dick and piss because he was drunk in the middle of an intersection. I've seen people fast walk. I've never seen people dance across an intersection. But yeah, this whole like let the actors be natural and make it, I guess, relatable in that way just doesn't work.
Dude, I felt like secondhand embarrassment watching this movie. Like this one, I guess I'll just say it now. Like, I don't know, man. I think this is my least favorite of his.
Really?
I did not like this movie, and I didn't want to spend any time with the characters. Like at least some previous ones, I wanted to spend some time there, but this one, no. I just hated it. Like nobody was like interesting. They were all doing shit that made no sense. Like, I mean,
Yeah, I kept comparing it to Knight of Cups, which is, in my opinion, also probably like close to the lowest on my.
they're
ranking.
definitely like of the same
Yeah,
cloth. Like they're pretty similar.
They're the same movie. I mean,
yeah, they're rehashing the same themes even in a lot of ways.
It's kind of a bummer too, because like I really enjoyed the Tree of Life when the first time I watched it for the most part, and now like that he's like done the same shtick for the next 2 to 3 movies. It's like, oh man, that one doesn't seem as well thought out anymore.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
What made me drop it too? I was like, all right,
Really?
doing the same thing. Yeah.
I guess with this one, I liked it better than Knight of Cups just because it actually felt like more linear than most of his movies as of recently. At least these like last 3 that he's done or that we've watched.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just felt like it had more of a through line of like story, and that's what these characters are doing. It wasn't just kind of hopping around randomly.
Yeah.
It's
You
like
had
you
relationships
kind of
to
had the
follow.
editing that
Yeah,
was a
you could
little bit
track the
more meaningful,
relationships
but
somewhat.
yeah.
Yeah.
And you kind of start with the relationships and you see them through, and it's just not like cutting in and out of relationships, I don't know. It just felt more cohesive than his normal past 3 movies, I guess.
Yeah, I can see
So
that.
that's what I appreciated about it more so. It was so much easier to follow in terms of like I wasn't just jumping through hoops and bending backwards to figure out why he edited it the way he did,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. Was there, speaking of the editing, was there like, maybe it was just my internet connection, but there were times when words were playing after, like you could see the mouth move and then the words would play
Oh.
for you?
I didn't
Yes.
notice that as much in this movie as some other ones, but I would not assume that
It was
is your internet connection. I would assume
Okay.
that's a
That's just the
connection that
Malick.
Malick is not
Yeah,
making.
I thought it
Yeah.
might be Malick, but I wasn't
Yeah.
sure. Yeah.
That's
No,
Malick
man.
connection right
Egregious.
there.
Yeah, for real. Okay. 'Cause
Yeah.
that drove me a little nuts. There was like a whole scene with Ryan Gosling and his girl in the kitchen, and I was like, "What? These aren't lined up." And this is throwing me off. And yeah,
That's style,
Yeah.
baby.
is it
That's Malick
style?
style.
All right.
That's how he sees the world.
This
He doesn't shit doesn't line up in his brain, I guess.
Yeah.
Honestly, I made the note after watching Song to Song that Malick kind of feels like an emotionally immature either filmmaker or person in general. Like, I'm sure he's
I can
not
see that.
that way, but like when you're watching his actors do stuff that he probably and he puts it in the movie, so he's like, that's truth or that's what I want to show. But then you have like Ryan Gosling and Rooney Mara listening to earbuds at a party, take one earbud in each ear, and I'm like, dude, no one over 30 does that shit. Like, I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. The whole dancing across intersections and acting normal. Like
Yeah.
this isn't normal behavior. This isn't normal human behavior. Couples don't
Drawing
act this
marker
way.
on each other. It's like, dude, if
Yeah.
someone's drawing marker on me, I'd be like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Every
We're not
time
in
I
high
try to,
school
like, mark
anymore.
Sarah with a pen, like just touch her with a pen, she's like, fucking stop. So
Mm.
like, please.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's strange. It's just strange direction, if you can even call it that. Yeah.
These people are not real, even though they're like coupled with people that are like slice of life. It looks like they're just in that town that Malick's filming at. So they just like stand out way too much. Especially Natalie Portman in this movie, dude. I was like, she comes in all like spunky and southern, trying to, I'm a character in Malick's movie. And then like, that's not what you do in Malick's movie, dude. You stand there and just be normal and like let Malick just do shit to you, I guess. But hand you a marker or hand you an object and be like, hey, have fun.
Yeah.
Corner you in a
Do a
diner.
spin move.
Yeah.
It's crazy to me too, watching this one specifically. I guess it's because it's more of like actors that we kind of, I guess, have grown up with in a way, but they're just more relevant, I would say. Why do they keep why would they sign up for these projects? Like, do they feel as passionately about them as Malick? Like, Michael Fassbender is so good at acting, but then he signs up for a Malick movie. Ryan Gosling, we've seen recently,
Yeah.
especially, that he is
Uh,
like a star. You
Kate
know,
Blanchett's in this movie, right?
Kate Blanchett,
For like
her
5 minutes.
third movie with Malick.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think
Natalie
it's
Portman, her
like
second movie. Rooney Mara. It's crazy.
I think it's like actors have to have like this checklist or something as like an artiste, where it's like, oh, I've worked with, Tarantino. I need to get Malick because I hear that experience is really enlightening for an actor of like how different like, or it's
Be
like,
you.
yeah, you just think like, oh, I got to get that Malick movie under my belt,
Yeah.
Gotta be you. Create your art, and he is really the epitome of I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna do what I want. So
Yeah.
I guess maybe I
For
don't
better or
get
for worse. Yeah. Mostly worse. So,
I don't know. I made the note though. I was like really just not enjoying my experience watching Song to Song, and then at the end, kind of like brought a little bit of it home, where it was like Ryan Gosling laying down in the field, where he's just like doing his workman job now, and he's like laying in these like they're like about to bloom crops. And one, I was like, only actor shit because no working man is gonna go lay down in a field next to the fucking site. Like,
yeah.
Oh, you're telling me the blue collar boys ain't popping a squat on the site?
people would be just like making fun of his ass if they saw anything of the sort. But I was like, I can like track Malick through plants. That's how I understand the man, because it's like he's like he's living in this concrete jungle the last 10 years or whatever. His movies, they're all in the city and very convoluted and hard to follow and chaotic. And now he's like finally getting back to basics, back to like his shit. He's like feeling the plants in the field. We didn't
He's
have much
trying
like
to
flowing grass and Song to Song, I feel like. So he's like, he's getting it where he can.
Yeah.
Stick it in at the end there. Just get that little piece in.
I'm going to give this movie 1.5 stars. I don't know if it's just like the compounding Malick, watching Malicks in a row. But even like looking at him as a whole, this movie is the worst in my opinion. But
Yeah, no, the compounding factor did play a lot, and I tried to like fight against that.
Yeah, it's pretty hard.
Looking back, especially to Knight of Cups, which is the one that really kind of pissed me off almost the most, besides Voyage of Time. So yeah, I gave this one just because of that. I was like, okay, 2.5. No, yeah, 2.5 is what I gave this one.
Same.
Yeah.
Which I think is what I gave Knight of Cups, even though I think I enjoyed this one a little bit more. But on the Malick scale,
Yeah, it's tough. I don't know.
It's a
Rating
hard
his
scale.
movies
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's weird. I guess we'll talk more when we rank them at the end, but it
And
is
that's perfect
strange.
segue into A Hidden Life, because rating this one, I felt like bad for the rating I gave it, even though it was high for a Malick movie. But like, I feel like I don't know, if it wasn't for the weight of Malick on my shoulders for the past few weeks, maybe I would have enjoyed this one more. You know, I don't know.
I felt that too, because
But
with this one, it's like you have a little bit of like a backbone with like the historical context and whatnot, and
Holy fuck! Finally, a plot,
like
dude.
right,
Oh
a
my
storyline.
god! Yeah,
Yeah.
I got
voiceover
latch
that
onto.
has purpose because they're writing letters to each other, and
Yeah.
like, I mean, finally,
Yeah. Yeah.
Somebody
Hats off.
got into Malick's ear. Finally, like he listened
Yeah.
to somebody. Like who was it? Who was the person
be
that like saved
something.
him? Yeah.
He was on set
This
like
is
he was looking too much like a Nazi, an art Nazi, and they're like, "Yo, we need to,
Dude. Yeah, you need to
do
stop.
something, need to change."
Yeah.
this is
Just
probably his
look at
most
yourself.
linear movie since I guess Tree of Life was pretty linear-ish.
Fuck, man, we jump thousands of years in that one, or millions of years.
That's true. I guess I shut those out because of my dislike for the 2001 Space Odyssey.
I see.
Yeah, I don't know. This one just felt like the most like he had a purpose, a vision, a goal. I mean, and it shows because of the runtime itself is his longest runtime. So he definitely had more passion behind this one and what he wanted to get across and what he wanted to say about war, about faith, about whatever you want to, whatever Malick wants to say. So it felt like it had the most purpose and it was less wandery, especially with like the camera. Like we followed people for periods of time and it wasn't just voiceover, it was them having conversations or
Yeah, there was
doing
actual
actual
dialogue.
relatable things. Yes, actual dialogue, you
Oh,
know.
hey, Iris.
Village interaction. Oh, what up?
You little rascal.
But,
Yeah, no, 100%, dude. Like the fact that we could hear what people were saying just
yes.
makes the movie watchable. Like holy
Yes.
shit. Like I can actually like track thoughts and people and like after the slog of what we just went through, I was like high on this movie. I was like, like I was feeling low, like I wasn't enjoying it, and I kind of understand what you're saying where you feel bad about the rating probably.
Yeah.
But I'm giving it a lot more like leeway just because like if I watch this movie out of order, it would be a lot better, you know.
Definitely.
It's a very complete movie in a way, so
Yeah.
like it's way better than most of his, I'd say.
Right out the gates, I kind of did like a double take because I was like, is this still a Malick movie? Because like we haven't done like 6 different cuts and like jump cuts forward to the same location
Right, yeah,
in a
within
matter
the
of
same
30
camera
seconds.
basically.
Yeah. And it was like, I don't know, I just kept thinking too as I'm watching it, I would enjoy seeing this in a theater. I feel like this would be a good theater experience because of how emotional the movie is and the story it is telling. It just felt like it finally a Malick movie that meant something to him. So
Yeah.
Yes. And that translates to us as an audience finally.
Right.
right.
Holy shit.
It feels like it took place in, the real world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could actually tell
I
what the
mean,
characters were thinking and what some of their motivations were, and
The turmoil they were going through, you're like, oh, I get it. I know
Yeah.
what they're doing. They're not
It's pretty
spinning in
raw.
circles, and I have to decipher what their lips are saying, but they're not saying anything because the mics are so far away. I don't know.
Yeah.
It just
100%. Also, August Deal. I want to say that's the dude's name. Great performance. I mean, he carries you through pretty well. And I mean, it's him and his wife. Those are the two characters you have basically to track. And they're both really, really good, but solid performances that carry it.
That's another thing that stood out from a Malick movie in itself is like for a change you're able to sit and like admire the acting in his movies instead of like, oh, I'm watching a Malick movie. Let's watch him move the camera and stuff and edit a
And
film the way
harsh
he
cut
wants to do it.
away from their
Right.
faces. Yeah.
Instead we're able to like since Badlands, we haven't been able to do that with any actors, like sit and actually watch them perform, you know?
Yeah.
At least that's how it's felt for
myself. I feel that.
Absolutely. And it still had like honestly beautiful cinematography, which most of his films do. It just didn't like lean on it in this one. Like the characters, like you said, were actually captivating and followable.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
helped with the the cinematography lends itself to that. So
for sure.
This is
and then the hills, the mountains.
Yeah,
very cinematic.
Countryside, all that.
I thought it was interesting how the movie just kind of like ebbs and flows in and out of English and German too. I don't think there's like a movie really like it where it literally just doesn't give a shit from scene to scene what language it's going to be using. And it kind of works in a way. I don't know, but
it threw me off at first. I was kind of like, what? Like, why isn't this all in German or why aren't we? Yeah, but
I was a little curious about that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some scenes I thought it worked for when it's just like village people kind of like cursing out,
yelling at them and shit.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, I like this because it's like you're getting the emotion through. You don't really even need the words, but it did throw me off a little bit. I was like, why? What's going on? No subtitle.
When I heard it was going to be in English, I was like, okay, this is actually going to be way more accessible of a movie for me as an audience member, which was nice to chill. I was like, you know what? I don't even care that it's not in German. It's kind of a good thing for this 3-hour movie.
Being a Malick movie, I mean, you're already struggling to get through it as it is. So reading subtitles,
just constant, subtitle. Yeah, exactly.
Whispering, oh god.
Eh.
Yeah.
I thought like you said, you're saying about tracking the characters. I made a note like I think my favorite scene of the movie is when he's leaving on the train, and you see just like her holding on to his hand and like not wanting to let go, and then the train just leaves the whole. And that's a great shot, and
Yeah.
felt the emotion there, felt like the characters, and that was very very well done.
Yeah, definitely.
So,
And like
a
it
lot of
felt like meaningful, the lingering shots with some of the characters as they're like slowly going through like what's happening in the moment, I guess, rather than let's have the camera sit on them and then they'll just sit there and
And
stare
find
and you don't really
something
understand.
maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like the turmoil that the characters are actually going through, maybe it just is because of the situation and it's very well known and how horrible it is, but the characters actually conveyed it, which hats off, finally. Characters
Yeah.
that convey real emotion in a Malick movie. So
not just dead air.
right.
Yeah.
I thought the score was really good too. Compared to some of his other movies where especially like Song to Song and some of those movies, like what the fuck are you doing? With the song choice.
Place, man.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
The song choice and like the editing in and out of those songs was so like it's like I could feel Malick like fucking up the premiere file with like taking
I think
taking
did
it
that
down
on
too low
purpose.
at fastly. Like
those hard cuts. Yeah.
not a fan. Not a fan. But this score was someone else. It's clear that it's like I forget who it was, but it's a well-known composer, and you can tell.
Yeah, for sure.
Movie could have lost a half hour.
Agreed.
That's
like the moments when Malick becomes Malick again, where we just kind of like zipping through some random ass place. I'm just kind of like, or the old footage, the World War II footage. I feel like that could have been
didn't really
lost,
need
and
it.
we get the gist.
Yeah.
You know. But yeah, I agree that that's probably a total of like 25 to 30 minutes that could have just been cut out, and the movie would have been
Better
just
for
as
it.
good or
Yeah.
better. Yeah,
Right.
better in pacing.
For sure.
Yeah. Yeah, because I thought all the prison stuff was well shot and like it spent enough time there. It didn't, but not too much. It kind of got by the end, like making the end feel somewhat like worth it.
Yeah.
Sad ending, but
very sad.
Brutal.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I don't think I would lose an hour from it. Like I think it is a long movie or it's meant to be long, but like a little bit here and there for sure.
Yeah, I mean, at least the time you're spending with the characters and their natural progression to where they're heading, like the whole prison section. There's nothing you can cut out of there because it felt so natural, like how he slowly losing, like and questioning whether or not he's doing the right thing in a way. Like you see it on him as he wears it, and like why he's doing what he's doing. So yeah, I think that all is justified in the movie. The random like footage and stuff, I don't think that's super justified. But
I thought the prison stuff
What are you doing?
did a good job of like driving home like the theme of freedom, like freedom of thought, freedom of choice, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Thought that was like a fresh theme, for Malick. I was like, okay, I like this, but
yeah, that quote at the end too. I couldn't
yeah.
tell you what it is, but I read it and it actually like won me over in ways at the end where I was like, that's a nice quote, and like it's very meaningful to what I just watched, and like it was nice.
Basically along the lines of like unsung heroes, like
just people living their everyday lives, like they should be like thought of too,
Right.
Yeah.
Perfect bookend for that movie.
Absolutely.
Refreshing, well told. I'm gonna give it 4 stars. Honestly,
I really wanted to give it 3.5 or 4, but like I said in my review on Letterboxd, I feel so worn down. So I think it affected me a little bit, just because I was down bad to begin with. I think I'm at like a 3 stars, just because I can't see myself revisiting a Malick movie anytime soon, and that's kind of big in my rating scale. So
I think that's fair. Yeah, I ended on 3.5 for similar reasons. Been exhausted and
there were moments where I was like, damn, this is really fucking good. Like right out the gates, I'm like, all right, I'm in. You got me, Malick. This is fun. But then it would turn into sometimes of a Malick movie, and then I'd be like, okay. But yeah, overall, definitely refreshing. And finally, after how many years of his movies, we finally get back to where it's like a decent Malick movie for a change.
Yes.
Took what 4 stinkers
Yeah.
between.
Yeah, my God.
I am glad to like end on somewhat of a high with him. You know,
Yeah.
it's nice. I mean, I'll watch his next movie because now I'll watch every director we cover now just to like keep the filmography or whatever. But
Definitely.
I'm curious. We'll see what the next one's like.
Yeah, good to have him in the books.
Yes.
You know, plop that on the shelf. Call it a
Let's
day.
just hope he's learned something from like this one. Or
Mhm.
I don't know, just understanding like, oh, people like it when your movies make sense. Like
Huh.
story wise.
When you write
when you use a script.
a script, yeah,
Yeah.
that's great.
Who'd have thought?
Yeah.
Alrighty, well,
Crazy how that works.
yeah, exactly. You can only break so many conventions before you're not making a movie. You know, it's
Right.
like,
Right,
yeah,
right.
If I want to watch improv, I go to an improv show, you know?
right.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. And actors are not improv people, so like this is not adding up. But
And somehow they weren't comedies. You know, improv comedy go hand.
right,
And somehow
There's a
you know,
reason.
this is a hard drama. So
Interesting choice.
yes,
But yeah, I guess we'll find out with this new one, right? When that one comes out, whether.
I haven't even looked. Is he working on
Jesus
one?
Christ.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
shit.
yeah.
Oh man, I don't know.
Story.
All right, we'll see.
Yeah.
He did like
Fun.
Pocahontas and shit, so like maybe.
Could be fun.
Let's see.
I mean, to be fair, his historical dramas seem to be his best movies. So
True.
Maybe
Yeah.
he's the guy to tell the Jesus story. Malick.
or is it Scorsese? No.
I haven't seen that one. I need to see it.
Yeah.
Me neither. Yeah.
Future dive.
Yep.
All right. Well, let's cap Malick off. Let's do some rankings. Only 10
Yeah.
movies. Not too many to rank, but it was kind of difficult for me to rank him.
Agreed.
Hard to parse the
bottom-
information for
bottom part,
Malick. Of like where's the cap of enjoyment and like quality,
Definitely.
and where's the low point? You know, I don't know. It's tough.
It's like for me too, I mentioned this a little bit earlier, is the rewatchability of a movie is kind of like the rating I put on it. The rewatchability plays a lot into that because I like to just turn on a movie and
Yeah,
rewatch
it's got to
it,
feel good.
you know?
Right.
Yeah, right. You got to enjoy yourself and want to be like, I want to come back to this experience. I would say out of all of these, one I would go back to. So,
One.
Yeah, one.
Wow, that's fair. Maybe like 2 or
Yeah.
3 for me.
I was thinking maybe
Really?
two.
Maybe.
Yeah. Which well, I guess we
I could
start.
see
We can
maybe
work our way.
two, but I don't know.
Yeah. Well, let's get into it. Who wants to start with number 10? Who's got the low of the low?
All right. Along with his performance at the Tom Brady roast, I'm sorry, Ben Affleck, to the Wonder.
Oh,
Bro.
shit.
Dang,
Yeah, terrible
man.
at the roast. So
It was
he's probably
awful.
the worst on it, right? Yeah, he's got to be.
It was like it wasn't even funny. Like it wasn't even. It was just him
Just
raging
lame.
at social media and
Yeah.
yeah.
And then he like saunters off the stage, doesn't even like give Tom Brady like
Yeah.
a bro high five or
Dab
anything,
him
you
up or
know?
anything.
Yeah.
And he kind of like shut Kevin Hart down for no reason. I was like,
Yeah.
the fuck? Yeah.
You
It's like, get off the
flamingly
stage,
close
man.
to Ron Burgundy bullshit.
That was a
That
little
was-
bit better than Ben Affleck, maybe, but yeah, that's
That-
another low.
It's still
That
rough.
made me
yeah.
die inside.
That was kind of rough.
Couldn't.
Yeah.
Just retire the character, dude. It's done.
Honestly, grow
True.
up, please.
Do something.
Dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you said To the Wonder. That was your number 10, huh?
Yeah. I mean,
Damn. Okay.
yeah.
Understandable.
Yeah.
I can't tell you why, other than it's like the same meandery BS and yeah, unrealistic relationship nonsense and yeah.
Yeah. It's so
We all
hard to
want a French
distinguish what I like least about, or like what I dislike more about these movies at the bottom of the list. You know?
That's what I was saying. It's the bottom was hard to rank because
Yeah.
it's like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Right. I struggled with mine, but I said it earlier. Song to Song, I think it's my least favorite. I think it's the worst
Yeah.
one. I'm not gonna rewatch. And then my next one, I struggled to put it like if this was the worst. But what's yours, Alex, for number 10?
Voyage of Time.
That's the one I
I
was
think
like, that might be his worst, honestly. But
that's yeah.
it's
It's
slightly
just
more
every time I thought
interesting.
about it, I kept dropping it like a half a star, so I was at like 1.5, 2 range, and I finally just stopped myself with my inner
Mhm.
turmoil and just left it at the 2.
Right.
Which honestly, these
What's up,
bottom
buddy?
ones kind of all ride that same rating. That's why it was kind of
Yeah.
hard to be like, what do I enjoy? Which one do I enjoy least out of
Yeah,
these bottom 4? Yeah.
exactly.
So
Yeah.
Voyage of Time, number 10.
Yeah, well, Voyage of Time is my number 9.
Yeah.
And I was
my
like, it's
number
at 2 stars. And Song to Song is like, I was like, man, I was looking at other 2-star movies that I had ranked, and I was like, they're better than Song to Song. I gotta go lower, dude. Like it,
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah,
number
it's-
9 is Voyage of Time for me.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, mine is Song to Song as well.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was like this or Night of Cups were taking the cake for these low ones.
That's about where I was. A Knight of Cups is the one that took the cake for me for my number 9.
I see.
That one, that one felt the most disjointed and the one that didn't really have anything to say except for in the first 10 minutes of like rich man empty life, and that was it. But then we
Yeah.
just spent 2 hours with this guy that's unlikable and a lifestyle that's unlikable, where he just wants you to sympathize with him. But I don't know, I just did not like that one.
Yeah.
That's
Fair.
Yeah.
That's
So
my
on to
8.
8.
Yeah. Night of Cups is my 8. So
It's
Night
8.
of Cups. Yeah.
This middle era, I feel like it's all of our lowest films, right? It's got to be,
Yeah.
right? Like,
Yeah.
my number
Song
8's To the
Song is my
Wonder.
number 8.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thinking about Night of Cups again, like I could probably drop that lower if I wanted to than To the Wonder, depending on how I'm feeling.
Yeah.
I don't know. To the Wonder, also when we watched it, it was like, oh, so he's just gonna do the Tree of Life shit again.
Yeah.
You know, like, so it's a little bit sour that way after watching it. I guess there's a little bit more like raw emotion than Night of Cups,
Yeah.
but Night of Cups is 7. The way I kind of like enjoy that movie a little more is like with Malick's like listfulness or like his nonsensical like storytelling. The character in Night of Cups that we follow with Christian Bale is like on that same journey somewhat, so like it can like connects in a way that like To the Wonder and Song to Song don't. But nah, I mean I completely agree. I don't even know like how that movie ends or like what it is saying, and
Yeah. It
no
was like
idea.
a fever dream.
Yeah,
Out of all the fever dreams that we watched of Malick's, that was the most fever dreamy for me.
for sure.
For sure.
I was scratching my head the whole time. Mine, To the Wonder, is my next, number 7.
Nice. Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah. That one, out of this middle era that we've seemed to have fallen together with hand in
Yes.
hand,
Yes.
that one just felt the most, I guess, accessible. I don't know. Like,
Looking back,
maybe
yeah.
emotionally,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
it's just 2 people, relationship. For some reason, they have a priest in there that Malick forgot about, but he threw some cuts in with Javier.
He didn't cut him fully.
Yeah.
Right.
So, but yeah, it just felt like where I was just like, okay, I can sort of understand what's happening. You
Yeah,
know,
for
I
sure.
can sort of relate.
Yeah, that's fair.
So,
My 7 was Voyage of Time. So. Just
Higher.
like a fucking documentary, dude. Yeah. Yeah, I mean it's like mid tier. Maybe just because
Yeah.
I don't mind watching nature shit, every so often. But
The shots are at least interesting, right?
yeah. They're just
but with
Somewhat.
that's about it though.
with documentaries, you're learning something. With this
Yeah.
one, it just felt like he was just wrote down random one-liners and was
Yeah,
like,
he's on a
"This
fucking
sounds
acid trip.
fire."
Yeah.
Yeah, he was. Tripping balls and writing poetry, man.
That's his
one
process.
way to do it.
It's
Yeah.
like Jonah
writes
Hill's
a-
character in 22 Jump Street when he does slam poetry. You know,
Right.
that's what it felt like.
Yeah, Malik's just tripping on acid, writes like a 400-page script, and then doesn't use it at all. He just does that though. Like,
He goes back over. He's like, "What
what
the
the fuck? Yeah. Oh, that doesn't make any sense. Holy shit! I gotta spitball this one.
First day on set, he walks in, he pulls the Tom Cruise and Top Gun, throws the book in the trash,
Right?
says we don't need it.
Yeah. I'm not using that shit.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Okay, so we all had the same 4 movies for the bottom, which makes sense. Now we're getting into the
Yeah.
interesting part. Upper half, which is pretty difficult as well, honestly, for my tops.
Yeah.
But
Sure. For sure.
going into number 6, I have Days of Heaven.
Really?
Hey,
Oh wow.
yeah.
Okay.
That's yours?
Sixes. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, looking back on the whole journey, I'm like, that's not as bad. Holy
No.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that's
those cats are going
comparatively-
nuts.
I was like, not when we first watched. I was like, what is this? What Malick is? Is this all that we have in store?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we delved even deeper, and this one, not too bad. Not too
It looks
crazy.
better.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it does.
It
Um,
was still in the phase of like, this makes sense.
Right.
The voiceover just finally creeped in. This was the movie that
Mhm.
broke Malick. So we can thank Days of Heaven for breaking Malick. Thank you.
Yeah. We had at least 20 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. It could be 15 to 20 movies, boys.
Yeah, it's true. This could have been a lot longer.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah, but middle of the
Mine is,
road for his. There's some better ones. So
Mine is Tree of Life.
Oh,
Yeah. I don't know. That one
And
was
the-
like on the edge of being one of the longer ones I felt watching. Like I kept checking the time of, is this almost over? I mean, there was some
very
shining
scattered.
moments where I appreciated like how he paralleled like humans with obviously the dinosaurs, and how human
Yeah.
nature in a way
Hmm.
kind of runs through us all. So, or I guess what we see as human nature, what's right and wrong,
Yeah.
consciousness, things like that. So I can appreciate that about it, but other than that, it just felt.
yeah, I
mid.
mean, it has some of that. It like makes you think about things that are like worth thinking about.
Yeah.
Compared to some of the other ones. But
Yeah.
For sure.
I feel you though. It is a bit long in the tooth, like some others. Feels longer than it might be.
Yeah. And it's like over 2 hours, so it is a bit long.
It is a bit long. Yeah.
And it feels even longer. Are we on to 5? Top 5?
Yes, sir. Top 5.
I'll go with mine. Mine was a New World. Pocahontas story.
Okay.
I think we're all in agreement that the some of this historical backbone, or like some sort of baseline for the story has definitely helped Malick,
Yeah.
whether
Yeah.
he knows it or not. But,
Whether it's
Even just having
registered.
context of what he's
Yeah.
doing helped. Like, oh,
Right.
this is Pocahontas. That's John Smith. All right,
okay,
cool.
we're in this time. Okay,
I know something. Great.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
I know what's going on, sort of.
Yeah.
So somewhat interesting, cool like time to the conquest of America. I'm kind of interested in that history.
Hmm. Yeah.
That time in history. So it did a little for me in that section, but it still doesn't feel like, even though we're at 5 this way, it still doesn't feel like we've like broken through.
Yeah. I feel that. My number 5 is Badlands.
My
Okay.
God, what?
Yeah, this is the movie that I
No.
think if I rewatch it, this is one of the 3 that I would probably rewatch. It would probably go a little higher, but I think the other ones are a little more unique, or like say something about Malick's filmography. Whereas Badlands to me doesn't even really feel like Malick. Looking back, weirdly, I don't know.
It's so weird. I agree 100%, but like the stamp that he put on like the films that he inspired after doing Badlands, I mean, we wouldn't have, well, we probably would have something similar, but like True Romance, that whole experience is kind of enhanced, and I don't know.
Yeah.
But
yeah, the Bonnie and Clyde-ness of it all. It's
Yeah.
definitely
It just feels like of its time in a way that like his other movies, in my top at least, like they transcend that time to be like a movie in Malick's filmography that is like, I don't know, better.
Where does it fit? Yeah.
Yeah, but like I said, it might
Yeah.
move up again.
being that it doesn't feel like it's the one Malick movie that doesn't feel like a Malick movie. Maybe that says something, because later on we'll see.
Yeah,
That's like,
I think I took
I
that
don't
to
know.
his credit, because I was
Maybe.
like, what? Yeah,
this is a
honestly.
watchable movie. Yeah,
Yeah, I can
For
revisit
sure.
this. Yeah.
what you got
Mine
for
was A
5,
Hidden
Alex?
A Hidden Life.
Oh,
was the
okay.
latest one.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, honestly, if I would have like experienced this in theaters before watching any, because these were all first time watches for Alex for me. I haven't seen
Same.
any of them. So
Same.
like, if I would have saw this in theaters on its own, I think it would have been much higher. It's just the burned out and like feeling exhausted by the Malick of it all. I think that really, unfortunately, weighed on it a lot for me. But
That makes
just
sense.
I was just more aware of like what to look for
The
and
tricks. Yeah.
what I don't like about Malick versus what I know he can do that is enjoyable, you know?
Fair.
So,
Yeah. Yeah.
On to number 4. For my list, this is where I hit 4 stars. And
So-
also, the next 4 movies are all 4 stars. We never go above 4 stars for me. That's just my take of Malick, I
same
guess.
except for
but-
one. Same here
Yeah.
except for
Yeah.
one.
Same. Yeah. One
Okay.
went a little higher.
Yeah. Well, number 4 for me is The Tree of Life. When I watched it, I was like, I think that's my favorite one. And then as we watched more, I was like, that's just Malick getting into his weird bag of tricks, and it worked pretty well for this movie. But then it doesn't seem as well constructed after you watch his other ones and stuff, and so it did tick down. But overall, the experience of it, I think, like what you said, Noah, about how it's like things you want to think about. I took that away a lot for that movie. Like, it's like I did feel a lot when I watched the movie. The experience of it kind of landed in a way that these other ones didn't. So
Yeah,
it's good.
I agree. Yeah, makes sense.
Understandable. My number 4 is The New World.
Oh, okay.
I enjoyed this one.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard, like these top 4.
Yeah.
Mainly these next 2, really. Okay, next 3. The rest of the normal Malicky movies. It's just hard to be like, this is what I liked about it, because we've all said the same things, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, this is
absolutely.
more meandering, but it had more of a historical backbone to help and more relatability because everyone knows the John Smith Pocahontas story. So
Right.
I don't know. It's just beautifully shot. So I guess that's what Malick brought to the story. Kind of, yeah, the
Definitely.
game just a little bit.
Yeah. If there's one thing he could do
Hey.
right, it's cinematography.
Yeah,
Give him
definitely.
that.
Oh yeah.
He loves the camera and using it.
Interesting. I had our 4 and 5 flipped to Alex. Mine was A Hidden Life for my 4.
Okay.
Similar reasons. Like the next, so I had New World and Hidden Life, and like they're all. This section of mine is all historically,
Yeah.
those historical movies. So,
Hmm.
and they're all up there for those same reasons. So, like kind of like you said. So, yeah, it's good. I like, I think anyone who's like somewhat interested in history, any white man is interested in World War II. I think it's fair to say.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's where
My number 3 is A Hidden Life. Pretty high in the rankings actually, but like I said, it's the most complete movie I think that he's made. I want to say. I was thinking about it too, and it's like if a random person who's like an average moviegoer watches a Malick movie, like 8 out of 10 of these movies, they're gonna be like, "That was the worst movie I've ever seen." You know, like A Hidden Life. If they didn't know anything and they watched that movie, that one I think can translate. You know what I'm saying? Like, because it's just so much of the historical backbone, like we're saying, and it's very linear, and like it has his signature cinematography, but like in a way that's tasteful and actually works, for the story. So it's way, way better than most of his other ones, in my opinion, and still 4 stars because it's the runtime and just sort of the Malick of it all. Doesn't add up to like true elevation, I guess, but it's good.
I can see how the completeness. I definitely, maybe I should just reconsider because it is one of his most complete movies. Like it feels the most satisfying
as a story, definitely.
Yeah. That's tough. Maybe I'm being too harsh.
It's tough, man. I was, because I had the same thoughts where I was like, man, I'm not really enjoying this experience, but like this movie's than his other
Yeah.
one. Like it's hard to like gauge it at the end of the journey.
Yeah, I mean, when I was walking out of the theater tonight, I was just like overhearing what people were saying about A Quiet Place, and like some of them were like ripping it, like they did not
Really?
like it, and I was like,
Hmm.
damn, yeah. You saying like if you were to introduce Malick to any, layman's moviegoer or whatever, um, yeah, dude, I don't know if they'd be on board.
have
But,
no idea.
It's fucked up. Yeah, they're fucked. All right,
We're
we got
playing
one
acquired
more.
taste.
Number
Three.
3. We still on 3.
Yeah.
I have Days of Heaven. It's my number 3. This was obviously the movie that broke him, but that shot with the locusts falling from the sky or rising from the ground, but falling from the sky but shot in reverse.
Yeah.
That was good.
Cool.
That was good for me. This was when I was like, okay, Malick has his cinematic game on point. And it was a little meandering here and there, but it felt cohesive and I understood the motives.
Yeah.
Even though it wasn't fully like handed to you why they're doing this, you kind of had to listen and pay attention as to why he starts off on the run with these people. So, and then just passing down, this lifestyle to this little girl throughout the thing was just interesting. And yeah, enjoyed this one.
I like it in the top 3. I think like if I ever do rewatch Malick movies, it's another one that can move up. I don't know.
Yeah. This is the second one I would consider rewatching. Would be Days of Heaven, just because I don't know, it just felt like the most at the time, one of the more compelling ones of these top 4. So
nice.
Yeah, I think that's a good point you made with like Days of Heaven not like beating you over the head as much, because that's a lot of what Malick has done. I feel
That's
like
true.
just like imagery, let me speak in your ear,
Yeah, literally.
Yeah. So it's like, all right, give us some space. That's nice.
That one's still like more of a natural voiceover in that movie.
Yeah,
Or like
that's
what
another thing where it felt like we were in the little girl's journal as we're doing this. Like this is her. We're seeing it. This whole movie is seen through her perspective, which is super interesting to think about and experience the movie that way. So
yeah, actually
maybe that's why the people are acting the way they act, because we're through her perspective, which plays back to what you said earlier, Matt. Maybe Malick is just super immature in the way he like sees the world and views people. I don't know.
Maybe.
And how people interact. But
yeah, definitely.
Childlike lens. Yeah. Interesting. My 3 was A Thin Red Line. This is one that I could see myself possibly revisiting. Again, maybe it's because it's like a war movie and it is well shot and major cast, and I just remember that scene of them going through the Japanese camp and like that. I don't know if I'll forget those sequences in particular. Like if I'm ever watching a war movie again, I feel like it's like if I can draw a parallel to that, I might, because it's like, oh shit, like Malick did this and it was impactful. So
for sure.
Yeah, it was good. Like raw, as far as like war movies go, which I can appreciate.
Yeah, the different perspectives you get for each soldier and like the different, I don't know if stereotypes is the right way to say it, but like what people would experience while in the service, the man who has his wife, the man who wants to be a pacifist, or the guy who wants to be a hero, and then you have the general who wants to make a name for himself because he's been in the military for X amount of years and hasn't seen any sort of violence or action, so he's got to, I don't know, just super interesting way to look at it.
Yeah,
that's my number 2. So
right on.
yeah, definitely one of the better ones. Like to me,
reality.
Yeah, I mean, for history somewhat. I mean, you don't really get like any like big picture war stuff. It's more just like visceral experience or whatever still.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of chaotic like story and voiceover and random voiceover that will follow in his other movies, but to me it has some of the most interesting pieces of like VO, like actual stuff to like chew on and ponder a little bit more than some other stuff.
Yeah.
So a little more meaning there.
Just shave off like the first 10 minutes of the Jim Caviezel scene, like at the beginning where he's gone AWOL.
Island,
just shave it off.
right? Yeah.
Clean it up a little bit. and then we got a movie here. You know.
For sure.
True.
Yeah.
All right. Well, all right. You got number 2, Noah?
Oh yeah. My 2 is Badlands.
Gotcha.
It's
All right.
revisitable. Yeah, it's probably the most rewatchable out of his, I would say, for me.
Definitely.
And then I don't know, man. I haven't seen Martin Sheen in much, and
Yeah.
maybe I don't know. He should, because he carried this, and I was like pretty.
What was the line in the movie? I'll kiss your ass if he doesn't look like James Dean.
Yeah. The fuck.
Fuck yeah.
It might be the biggest gem written by Malick right there.
Yeah.
Fuck
Yeah, man. It was good. It was enjoyable. It's like you said, Matt. It's like the least Malick of the Malicks, and
Hmm.
I appreciate it for that after this sort of slog. So, yeah, that's where it ended up. Number 2.
Nice.
I think my top 3 are like sort of all can like shift quite a bit in Malicks, but over time.
Well, we've arrived at our top number 1 picks. Who wants to go first?
Well, mine have all been said. Badlands is my number 1, which I think was pretty obvious at this point for me.
We saw it coming from day 1.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah, I love this movie. It was great. I will revisit this movie probably soon, just because I've been thinking about it recently. Finishing up Malick, just because, yeah, good, and you can see the influence. It's perfect, like to watch with other Bonnie and Clyde-esque movies.
Yeah.
So
pretty sweet ending too, I will say.
Yeah, for sure.
I love the ending of him walking through like the air base or whatever.
he's a superhero, pretty much.
Just enjoying it.
Yeah.
Yeah, good stuff. My number 1 was Tree of Life. Yeah, just for those emotional reasons, This is like the movie of Malick's that pulled the most emotion out of me, I think. That I connected to the most. So, yeah, it's good. It's good. I got to like have some form of catharsis at the end of the movie rather than being left with more questions than answers,
Nice.
So, yeah, I think that's why it ended up at the top. It did drop down. I had it at 5 stars at the time, but the grind just, it just grinded me down.
It wore you down. Yeah. Wore the rating down too.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, my number 1 is The New World. Didn't expect it when we even watched it.
Yeah.
This is a shock.
Yeah, I rearranged my ratings after Tree of Life into The Wonder. I was like, wait a minute, my perspective is way different. Right. Yeah, because I think like with The New World, it's where like nature, story, and meaning like actually perfectly align for Malick. Like, I think like the shots with like the water and the like grass that he's famous for are like really beautiful, and the characters are, you can follow them enough. It's still got the jagged edges of Malick on it, so it's like clearly of his like style. But even the ending, it's long, but like it's still somewhat complete of a movie, even though it's not as good as A Hidden Life in that manner. But it's a nice like story, and the ending like leaves you in a place where it feels full, even though you're not. It's like not really a satisfying ending though, either. But
sure,
I enjoy it.
Interesting too, with like you mentioned, like nature and people and all that stuff kind of coming together. It's like the thin red line. I think is as close to that as we can get in terms of melding all those elements that Malick obviously has passion for, and describing and putting on the screen what he's trying to say with those, and conveying his story through that. So interesting. Did not see that coming.
Yeah.
Either, cool. Honestly, but
interesting.
Yeah. So what's our takeaway with Malick here? I will say
himself a rating overall. Like, where does he like a 1 to 10?
I guess like no movies rose above 4 stars for me. I'd say most. I would really never recommend any movies to anyone. Yeah. Unfortunately, but to true cinephiles, we'd have an okay chat, even though I'm just not going to be very jazzed about it.
Yeah. It'd be like, yeah, I'll talk about Malick if you want me to.
Right.
You have to pick a director.
If that's what you really want to discuss right now, sure.
Yeah. I mean, it probably clicks a lot more with some people. I felt a little bit of the clicking here and there throughout the journey, but
Yeah,
it's just not for me mostly.
Yeah.
But
I think that's fair.
I think
Yeah.
Yeah.
my true takeaways are like camera work and cinematography. And I do think fondly on his motif of grass. Like I just feel like I can track his like thought process when he's showing me a shot with grass in it. You know, and it's like like you're saying with the locust, like that's like clearly tied up with like theme and stuff. And like at the beginning of this, at the beginning of Hidden Life, he's like chopping grass right away.
As
And
soon
it's
as I
like,
saw that, I was like, "Days of Heaven, we're back, baby."
right, it's like Malick back on
Yeah.
his grind, chopping his fucking
Yeah.
grass, and like, I like that motif. I like his like grass shit. I don't know if that's a good
Hey,
takeaway, but
I mean,
Sure.
the only reason I knew Tree of Life before I looked it up to confirm, I was like, "This is shot in Texas," because that is some St. Augustine ass grass right there. That's like the
you knew what the
grass down
grass
here.
was?
Yeah,
What?
because around here,
Holy
I
shit!
trying to get my yard to look, pristine with that St. Augustine grass, but I saw that and I was like, "That's some. I bet this was shot in Texas." And sure enough,
Nice
This
yeah.
grass.
Thank you, Malik, for connecting with me through grass.
grass,
Appreciate that.
baby. Yeah,
If there's
Yeah.
anything.
Overall, I guess my takeaway is I'm glad that I knocked it out because this was the one director that I can think of off the top of my head where I haven't seen like any of his movies.
Yeah.
yeah, true.
Like most directors, I could be like, yeah, I've seen one or two. Even if I didn't know it, I'd be like, oh, I have seen that one. This none. So it was nice. It was nice to be like have this fresh experience, whether it was enjoyable,
Yeah,
for obviously it was unenjoyable really for about 80% of the time, but overall, I'm glad it happened. Good experience, good
yeah.
learning experience, I guess. So
Agreed. Agreed. Yeah.
sorry to put you boys through that. I know I was really leaning into Malik on this
No,
pick.
No problem.
I'm glad we did it. Now we know.
We struggled through together.
All right, we made it to the other side, and
Weaker men wouldn't have been able to make it.
no,
True.
definitely we're strong.
True.
Hell yeah, fucking strong, man.
True.
But
Cinephile.
we do need a little bit of a lighter dive on this next one. So
Agreed.
I think we all are in agreement. We're gonna do Richard Linklater next. So
He's got quite a few films though, doesn't he?
it's gonna be a longer dive. We could probably double
Yeah.
up if we end up wanting to again, maybe
Yeah.
somewhere.
Might be worth it.
There's just a very diverse filmmaker. Kind of
Yeah.
not really like one we've done before. I feel like in ways where he like has it probably will feel similar as we get through it, but like very different stories, very different characters, very different like
Yeah.
attempts. So
Yeah.
At least the ones that I've seen of his, I don't know if he has like this style about him. I feel like he just kind of does what he wants to make,
right,
like a Malik, if you will, but like
kind of like a Spielberg.
understands people.
Yeah,
you know,
the movies are actually like marketable or like
right,
packaged.
right,
So
yeah.
yeah, a little bit closer to
Have
Spielberg,
dialogue,
I'd say. Yeah,
use a
characters that
script.
you like watching most of the time,
Right.
and like,
Right.
Hey, so
Yeah.
yeah.
Crazy what can happen with a script.
yeah, I'm excited for Dazed and Confused. I think that's one of my favorite movies of all time. Most rewatchable movie of all time, maybe. Honestly, like
Really? Wow.
dude,
It's
it's
pretty
just
fire.
it
Yeah.
just feels amazing to watch. It's just so
great.
good.
It is great.
But there's probably like 50% of his filmography, if not more, that I've never seen. So
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Majority I
Like,
have also not seen. So.
Yeah,
all the befores I've not seen. Like
Same.
Boyhood, I'm kind of excited to watch. I don't know. I've seen memes from me and Orson Welles, so that might
Really?
be interesting.
Oh.
Yeah.
Mm.
So
Yeah, Boyhood, I'm very interested in. Bernie, I'm pretty interested in watching
yeah.
that one.
I watched that a long time ago when it like came out and we rented it, but I don't remember it. So I'd like to just revisit and feel how that feels.
Cool.
I from what I've heard in recent podcasts, it's kind of like what he was trying to do with Hitman, but less successful. So
Okay.
yeah.
I mean, School of Rock potentially might be a 5-star movie on this rewatch, I think, because that movie is just so good.
Yeah.
You never seen it?
Nope.
Oh my
Oh,
god.
yo.
Hopefully it's
you're
not a
in
movie
for
that
it.
you had to catch when you're younger to really feel it.
Experience it.
Yeah, but it's just a great movie too. So
The legend of the right.
that's way hot. Wind chimes. Wind chime. Oh man, what a great movie. That A Scanner Darkly, I'm pretty interested in that one too. But
Yeah, I
I'll
watched
probably
what is it, Apollo 10.5, which is animated.
yeah.
I don't know if it's his only animated, but
I think A Scanner Darkly is animated as well.
oh, is it? Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, I want to
never heard
rewatch
of
that
it.
one. I remember watching it and enjoying it. Might be better on rewatch too. So
Yeah,
for 10.5.
It's like nostalgic.
Definitely. Probably be some stinkers. It's a long filmography. There might be some lows,
Yeah.
but
It's bound to be.
definitely highs too. So
Honestly, coming out of Malick, I think anything will be just a little bit more enjoyable.
it'll
I
just
think the
taste so much
only
better.
the only person we could go into and just expect more torture or worse kinds of torture would be like who's the guy I've been wanting to do? I always forget his name. Him
Oh,
and Yorgos, I get confused.
Oh,
Von
fucking
Trier.
Von Trier,
Yeah, Von
dude.
Trier.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm just putting that guy off, man. I don't want to I don't
Yeah.
want to experience that darkness, you know.
Same.
It's a
Let's
different
just do
it's a
it.
different level of torture of
Yeah.
like
Right.
Yeah.
psychological. Yeah. Fun though. Some
Ooh.
of his movies, they leave a mark on you where you can't really shake it.
It just stays with
Occasionally
you
you
your
think
whole
about it.
life,
Yep.
Yeah. You're
and
You're just
actually
driving
you
and
wake up
like
in the middle of the night and
I saw
literally
that
being
on TV.
traumatized.
yeah, what the
Yeah.
fuck? Oh god. Oh god. Well, at least we have a
Okay.
few months if we're doing him next. I hope
Yeah.
cooler heads prevail, but we got some nice months here ahead with Linklater.
Yep.
So, it's good.
True.
And some more fun
That'd be
things
it.
we got planned. I think I like the idea of doing like we did our franchise, our franchise little shindig. We
Yeah.
got another studio-esque
Yeah.
episode
Yeah, we're
exercise
gonna
coming up.
see if we all had studios, what would be our game plans for like the next 10 years. So it's exciting.
be
It's kind of fun to
fun.
think about.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll introduce fun things like that more often because
Yeah.
I don't know, it's just fun to just talk about something other than I guess what we're currently watching, bring up
Mhm.
some old things, bring up things that we just love about movies.
Definitely.
Yeah. It's always nice to revisit those things.
Yeah.
I
And
was thinking if we wanted to do a talk on like adaptations, we had like favorite books to screen adaptations or
mm,
TV or movie, whatever.
yeah.
Oh yeah,
That'd be
that's coming in on this next one. I got a big one. So
Rings of Power season 10,
Yeah.
baby.
I
10
guess.
years, 10 seasons.
shit.
Hell yeah.
I ain't ever gonna quit.
Not with Bezos at the helm. Amazon will never die.
Yeah, nah. It's never gonna end.
Eternal.
They're gonna
But-
catch up to modern history through Middle Earth. They're never gonna. That's real life, right?
Oh, the
The
horror.
elves- the
They'll
elves
connect
live
it.
among-
Multiverse shit. It's
Hell
gonna
yeah.
cross over.
Yeah. They'll make a deal with Disney and it'll be
We can only
Marvel.
hope.
Brand
Literally.
wars. After
Yeah.
Secret
Oh.
Wars, it's Brand Wars.
Speaking of Disney, the new Wolverine teaser. I'm kind of excited about this movie. I think it might be
Really?
fun, at least.
I have not seen it.
The Sabretooth one,
Oh.
I believe is what it was. The
Hmm.
old one that comes back, the shaggy guy with the long eyebrows from the original.
From the first X-Men?
Oh.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Oh shit. Okay.
That's
Yeah.
wild.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
Wow.
It looked like
What a
a
callback.
good time. Just it helps that Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds like have good back and forth with each other. So
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm excited for it too.
Oh, that trailer in theaters today for Deadpool Wolverine. I was like, you know what? It's gonna be all right. Could get me back into MCU, maybe.
no,
It's nice
no,
that
I'm just here
like
for that one.
yeah, I'm definitely like one and done probably, but it's nice that there's like no rules for Deadpool. You know, like you
Yeah.
can do anything. They can do
Yeah.
anything, which is good.
Yeah.
Nice. I like it because
Well-
like the line of hero is like blurred with Deadpool.
Yeah.
Mercenary, hero, anti-hero, whatever you want to call it.
It's kind of crazy that he's like saving the MCU in a way. And he's
Right.
like the guy that is like completely outside the MCU,
The
you know,
most
or like
rated R, not family friendly.
Yeah. the
Interesting.
only guy who can actually be like sarcastic against the
Yeah.
movies like that are being made.
Yeah.
I guess we'll see how far they go.
Yeah. Got that Ryan Reynolds pedigree.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe in like a couple weeks, maybe we'll talk some more like Hot D, some more boys too.
Yeah.
If we just catch up
Yeah.
on a few more episodes and have something to
The
talk
Bear.
about. The Bear, I have
Bear.
watched a couple episodes.
Hell
Same.
yeah.
Feels
You
good to
know,
be back.
just to touch on that a little bit, I just was talking to my other buddies about it. It's such an interesting series. Every episode so contained, so close up with all the characters and just so intense. I don't think there's anything like it, Very cool.
Have you watched any of the season, Noah?
No, I have not
Okay.
yet. It's on the watch list.
The first episode back was a very interesting episode of TV.
yeah?
One of the most
I've never seen anything like
the
it.
perfect segues from like connecting two seasons together. Like that was
Mhm.
such a good way to do that, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's like one
Yeah.
long montage, almost like
Yeah.
Malick.
Oh.
Yeah,
Holy
honestly.
fuck. Uh-oh. No, but way better. Yeah, way more immersive, way more like better characters, obviously, that you've been tracking. And yeah.
Cool.
Now that
No,
you've watched, go ahead.
Good. I was just gonna say I'm probably gonna catch up on some stuff tonight. So yeah.
Nice.
Nice. Now that you've finished the Malick watch, In a Violent Nature's on our movie site.
Oh,
Check
cool.
it out because that's like if Malick shot a horror film.
Horror. Yeah,
Like
I'll definitely
hearing
get around to that
and
one.
then thinking
Yeah.
about it, I'm like, yes, I get it. I understand.
Right.
I went through the shit, and now I get it. Yeah, nice.
I was in the shit.
Deep in the shit. Yeah. Yeah. Well, should we sign off, boys? Been a good chat on Malick.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Talk
So
next
we're
week.
coming back next week with
Some
just
Linklater. Yeah, I don't know.
let's-
Maybe we can put another thing on the agenda to talk about if we find something.
Can I
Quiet
pick
Place.
a movie for our movie chest? Quiet
Could do
Place?
movie
Oh,
chest.
Quiet
We could
Place.
also try. I know we talked a while ago about like doing like 5-star movies for us, or movies that are like 4.5 that were like, should this be 5-star? Like ask the question, and like really see if we can like find if it should be or not. But
You know,
Yeah.
pick, like,
something like
5
that.
to 10 movies between each other and like.
Or we could just like hyper focus on one, or we all bring one. That might be good, like
Yeah,
and we
let's
do
bring
like
one
3.
4.5-star movie
Okay.
I'm down with that.
Should
to the
we?
table.
Yeah, well, I guess we'll talk off stream about it, but make sure we don't have like the same one.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Cool.
Oh,
Yeah, that sounds like- that
there's
sounds
a
fun.
couple here on the top of my list where I can see, like, I mean, obviously, I just bumped one off of I have a whole list of like what my star ratings are. Each list, and Mad Max Fury Road, I just recently bumped that to 5 stars. So
Nice. What's next on the
Yeah.
agenda? Grab that one and we'll talk. I think I have a
I
good
have a
idea.
feeling
for
we
mine.
might clash though.
Yeah.
What's your idea for one?
Should I just reveal it? I mean, the easy one that is like always on the back of my mind, and I'm like, man, that movie's just so fucking good. Is Palm Springs.
Oh, okay,
So-
okay. Mine was Gone Girl. That was the one where
That's
I'm like, I
easy
think
second
that
for
should be
sure.
Yeah, it's tough.
But I'm interested. Maybe we'll have multiple 5 stars after this chat. That's
Right.
exciting.
Right.
Yeah. Cool. All right.
Good
Well, we'll plan that for next week. Do some Linklater, maybe some TV talk if we're caught up.
All right.
It's been good
Sounds
talking.
good.
Thanks for watching, guys. Peace out.
I gotta remove this from this fucking list now. What am I thinking? Gotta add it to my 5-star list.